Class of 2020, how many of you remember the Joplin, Missouri F5 tornado that happened on May 22nd, 2011? You guys would have roughly been about 9 years old. This tornado went down in history as the 7th deadliest tornado in the US since 1950, killing 150 people and injuring over 1,100 others. Not only did it claim the lives of so many people, it also caused a shocking total of $2.8 billion worth of damage to the city of Joplin. Included in that damage were thousands of homes and businesses that were swept away by over 200-mile-per-hour winds that day. Why are you telling us all of this, you may ask? I'm telling you this because the week before Christmas, just a few short months ago, my husband and I drove through the city of Joplin, Missouri. Were the streets lined with rubble and debris? No. Were the buildings and homes still laying in a pile of metal and bricks? No. Why? Because the residents of Joplin, Missouri knew that if they wanted to see change take place, if they wanted to see restoration happen, then they knew they had to put on their gloves, get out their hard hats, pick up their bricks, and one by one work together to rebuild the city that every single one of them called home. Whether you realize it or not, that is the job of each one of us on a daily basis, just in a little bit of a different way. Let's take a well-known Bible story as an example. In the book of Nehemiah, chapter 1, it began with the city of Jerusalem in ruins. The enemy, the Babylonian army, had destroyed the gates of the city, taking the Jewish people captive and causing them to live under their oppression. After years of this, Nehemiah, a man who loved and feared God, is informed of this devastation, and he felt called to go back to Jerusalem, his hometown, to try and help restore the city and rebuild the walls. As the book continues and chapter 2 and 3 unfold, Nehemiah gathers the Jewish people together and tells them the only way to keep the enemy out is to unite together and rebuild the walls of their city to protect them. Nehemiah understood that the only way to effectively get things accomplished is to always work together, remembering that many hands make light work. Each person was given a specific job to do along the wall. There were bricklayers, gate repairers, lock and door builders, and each job played a huge role in completing the construction of the wall. Everyone knew that their job was no greater and no less than the one next to them, just to get the job done right. So as we close out the story in chapter 4, the Jewish people did encounter some pushback from the enemy who tried to stop them from their work. But despite the hurdles, despite the roadblocks, Nehemiah and the people of Jerusalem did indeed complete the reconstruction of the wall. They were able to reestablish their city once again and be relieved from the oppression of the enemy. So, even though you may not be holding physical brick and mortar, each and every one of you are just as capable of being a wall builder as well. Our church has many needs that go unnoticed sometimes, and whether you realize it or not, you have every capability to meet them. We need some young men and women to purpose in their hearts to be encouragers, uplifters, and to be that person that someone can call on when they need their day to be brightened. We need some young men and women who will actually pray for people, not just say that they will. Prayer is a powerful tool that can be used by anyone. What about being someone who decides to be a problem solver instead of a problem creator? The church could definitely use more of those. And how about you decide to be a young person who reaches out to the lonely to show them the love that they have been longing to feel from someone? Every single one of these are ways that each one of you can be wall builders right here within our church. An important concept that we must remember is that these walls are meant to separate us from the enemy, not from each other. So as you build these walls, remember, you must build them out of love. So just like the storm survivors in Joplin, Missouri brought restoration back to their hometown, and just like the Jewish people in the book of Nehemiah worked to rebuild the walls that were destroyed, you and I are both called to live, or called to be the very same way with the people in our own lives. As you graduate and move on in this life, I want to encourage you to be a Nehemiah. Be someone who sees a need and do everything that you can to meet it. You have the ability, now more than ever, to potentially save a life just by lending a hand or by giving words of encouragement, by showing someone that you truly care about them. We are called to be young men and women who will put on our gloves, get out our hard hats, pick up those bricks, and one by one work together to see the hurting people find hope, to see damaged people be restored to their fullest potential, and most importantly, to share the love of Christ to everyone that we meet. Today, I hope that I have encouraged and inspired you to build these walls of love and compassion and encouragement to the lives of everyone around you. Thank you.